Hey guys, this is Anthony Morganti from AnthonyMorganti.com. This is episode 130 of Lightroom Quick Tips. In this episode, I'm going to show you the power of auto stacking and how you could use it to help organize your images in a folder, and then when they're down here in the film strip, they're a lot easier to find probably the image you're looking for. And I have to thank John Blackwood. He emailed me a few days ago suggesting that I do this video. And John mentioned that he's often taken pictures of animals. And same as me, I got these pictures of the zoo. And John, like me, when we're doing that, we're using a high-speed continuous shutter, meaning we have our camera set up so that when we press in the shutter button, we're going to fire off a burst of images. Now, in my case, I have a Nikon D500 that I usually use with an optional battery holder, battery grip. And when using it with that battery grip, it fires off 10 frames a second. So I usually will, and John mentioned he does the same thing, focus on an animal, and we fire off a bunch of shots. And we're doing that because we're hoping the animal might look at us or give us a certain expression or stick out its tongue or something like that, something that you'll capture throughout those bursts of images that you probably wouldn't have caught just taking one shot at a time. Now, when you do this and you're taking pictures all day, you're going to have thousands of images. In this case, I have 1,989 images from the Columbus Zoo. Now, I admit I didn't go through here and cull any of these. These are every shot I took. And in the case of this monkey here, like I have a couple shots here, and you can see I was just firing off in images after images until I got the look I wanted. Now, I have all these images down here in the film strip, and I'm looking for one, and it's really hard. So stacking will help, and auto stacking is the way to go. And to do it, all you need to do is go on the folder that you need to auto stack. In this case, I'm doing these zoo shots. And again, this isn't just for animal images. Whenever you might have a bunch of images you taken at one time, and then a little while later you took another group of images, then a little while later you took another group of images, this is when auto stacking really helps. So we're going to click on the folder, and this also works for collections. If you have the images in a collection, you could click on the collection. Then just right click on any of the images. You could do it down here in the film strip or on the image up here. Just right click and go down to stacking. Now we're going to go down to auto stack by capture time. And when you do that, this little box pops up. And it's asking you for the time between the stacks. Now in this case, or when I was at the zoo, I probably didn't spend a lot of time in front of each exhibit taking pictures. I was probably there for about a minute. So the default time of 1 minute is good. So all these pictures that have a capture time within a minute of each other will get put in a stack. Then I walked to another enclosure and I took some pictures there, and those would probably get put in a different stack because it took me longer than a minute to get there. And again, you could adjust this by sliding the slider. So it defaults to a minute, and it tells me down here that of these 1,989 images, it's going to make 30 stacks. So that's going to really make it a lot easier to page through down here in the film strip and seeing what I have captured from the Columbus Zoo. So you just click stack when you're satisfied with the time between stacks is going to work for you, and then nothing happens. So what you need to do next is just right click again on the image or on any of the images down here in the film strip, and then you're going to go back to stacking, and then you're going to go to collapse all stacks. And when you do that, it will collapse down, and as you could see down here in the film strip, I have all these stacks. I have 15 images in that stack, 2 in that, 19 in that. So you could go through and you could get a better idea. When I was in that monkey enclosure, there's a stack there. Over here, obviously, I was shooting reptiles in this enclosure. Here, over here, I was shooting pictures of the tiger. And I must have spent more than a minute in the tiger enclosure, so you could see there's 2 individual stacks, even 3 individual stacks there. So I took a lot of pictures of tigers that lasted longer than a minute. So it got put into 3 separate stacks. But that's okay. It still made it a lot easier to look for what I want to find. And when you're satisfied, well, I really want to, let's say, look at, let's say, for the sake of argument, the cheetah pictures. I could click on that, and right here where it says 56, if I click there, it will expand the stack, and then I could find the picture that I want. So that is one way that you could probably better organize the images down there in the film strip and help you find images later on. And again, I didn't cull any of these, so I have every single image there. Now, when you want to collapse this back down into the stack, just right here where it says 1 of 56, just click on that again, and it will collapse that back down. You also could right-click on it and go back to stacking, and then you could go back to collapse all stacks, and you'd be good to go. You also could unstack from there and do some other things to each of the individual stacks, so you could check that out. So that's it for this episode. Thank you again, John Blackwood, for suggesting that I do this video, and thank you everyone that watches my videos. I truly do appreciate it. I'll talk to you guys soon.